All right, welcome back to Admin Mastermind and Teach Better Family. Thank you so much for joining us. We just got done with a fantastic conversation with phenomenal leaders all over the United States and Canada as we were talking about aspiring leadership, a topic that I love so much, Ray.
I mean, this was the perfect topic for you. It's like comical that this came up in May because it's not only good timing for it, but talk about the guru to talk about aspiring leadership.
Yeah, I was thinking, it's May. I, in my own experience, had to delegate so much because it was just insanity on the campus. And not so much like it was student behavior, although that was a part of it. It was also, there's so many things going on. I mean, we've got like concerts and plays and award ceremonies, and it seemed like every day there was an event after school, in addition to the fact that we had just a lot going on preparing for the end of the year and state testing, as some of the admin had talked about. They're still going through that right now. So just a lot of things to juggle this time of year for our admin. And in addition, I was also thinking that it is a saver as far as funds for a district to be able to identify potential leaders and then kind of build them up and have them go through the system that they're already established in, versus trying to use those resources to go find someone outside of the district to bring them in. As you know, Ray, that takes a lot of time, a lot of PD, and trying to get them acclimated to the new district and campus. So with that, I had asked the group just how they identify potential future leaders within their campus or the district. But Ray, as someone on a campus and your vast experience, what did that look like for your own experience?
I think this is a mixture of two different approaches. One is to truly listen to your staff. I think it's very common for certain staff members to vocalize wanting to get more involved, and maybe they're not specifically sharing that specific idea or sentence, but what ideas they have. They're constantly sharing ideas, they're constantly in a positive mindset. I think those are very natural people to lean towards. And the other, very similar to, I know, your story getting into leadership, is having an educator that you then plant that idea in their head. You go to them and say, I've gotten to know you as an educator. I see something in you that would allow you to be a strong leader. How can I kind of, encourage you to make that leap? I think both of those approaches allow you to hear what your community is saying, and also maybe find those educators that don't quite see the vision and plant that seed for them.
Yeah. And it did. It felt like you've got this grassroots roots movement within the campus, right? So leaders were identifying folks and having those conversations of, this is what I see in you. Others, like you said, were coming to the office and saying, hey, I would like this opportunity. And the leaders were providing that to them. But then you've got this other piece where it's more of an organizational thing, right? So the district has a program, or maybe it's the Leadership Academy for the state has something that's already established. So it's like more formal versus informal, if you will, of those different opportunities to build into future leaders. And I don't think anything, I think both need to exist, honestly.
Right. Yeah. I think you need the variety to identify aspiring leaders. I think that different personality types and different opportunities will open up different doors. I think it's important to keep your eyes open.
All right. So, right, some of the things that were brought up were some of the struggles within either the building or the district. So, what are some things that might be some hurdles for folks as far as trying to not only identify, but, get the things in front of these folks to build them as leaders?
Yeah, something that was brought up quite frequently was, for, I don't have a better kosher way to say this, but ignorance on the newbies' part, right? A new leader doesn't know all the ins and outs, all the red tape, all the questions or ideas they should be considering. That, when you're a new leader, you kind of walk in tunnel vision. So I think something that came up frequently was wanting to help manage a potential leader to see the wide variety of ideas that they need to consider. Something that we did suggest, Josh, and it just kind of came up at the end of our conversation, was potentially using our summers to create some templates that would allow us to almost facilitate a sort of training or opportunity for our leaders to kind of see what they may be missing or what they may not have considered. And if we take time over the summer to do it, then maybe when it becomes relevant, we kind of hand that over, and it can be a little bit more of a starting point. Maybe you're starting at the fifth step versus the first step, and that saves us a little bit of time, right?
Oh, for sure. I think the summer is a brilliant plan as far as planning. Obviously, in the middle of the year, it's hard to do, but yeah, some additional items that were discussed too were just funding, right? That's how it seems like always an issue is trying to find the money for that, but then also the time that's needed for a program. And then I think the biggest thing too is folks understood like you can't do this work alone. Like this isn't something that you need to have the idea for, build out, and implement by yourself. It does require a team or a committee of folks to be able to do something. If it's at a campus level or a district level or state organization, it is not a one-person job. So, and then the last thing was just getting someone to say yes. So you can pitch it all you want. You may have this brilliant idea, but if the higher ups, and within the district don't say yes to it, you're kind of out of luck. So what can you do to change their mind? Let them know of how important this is. And I think that was a big piece of the conversation also.
Yeah, you need to lay out that vision. And that's where it comes into having those strong leadership skills to be able to build a strong leadership program. You almost need
Yeah,
to approach it as a business pitch, right? Where you're laying out what are the goals that we're trying to achieve? What does this save us long term? I mean, really looking at that from other lenses other than I'm a principal and I need help.
for
How
sure.
can we approach this to really see how we can serve the district? So
Yeah.
lots of good pieces there, lots of short-term and long-term suggestions for this type of work.
Yeah, and I love the idea of like the different experiences that people had and were trying to share, especially with those who wanted to create a program. And with that, I wanted to switch to probably the bulk of our conversation, Ray, which was once we've identified our staff members that we feel have these leadership qualities, we want to like pour into them. I was asking like what strategies or things did they put in place for them to get the experience needed to get into a future role. So, do you want to share just some examples of what people, laid out for them?
Yeah, there was so much shared. And I know one of the key things was an idea of creating opportunities for educators to shadow
Mhm.
leadership. What comes up for you, Josh?
Oh my gosh, I used to do this all the time, right? So shadowing is such a huge thing, and I got to do it myself. So I had the first-hand experience of, it's one thing to hear about the role, or maybe you have some assumptions of what maybe an assistant principal or a principal does, but to be able to be in the same room and to be in those really sometimes crucial meetings with students, parents, and staff members. I mean, it was invaluable, and it gave me firsthand opportunity to see exactly what the role really was, so that when I got to be promoted, I felt like I knew exactly what I was stepping into, and I knew the insanity that came with the role and the job. But I loved it. I don't think I would have pursued it as much as I did if I didn't get the experience of being able to shadow and be a part of all of the job. My admin was phenomenal of not holding back. They let me experience and see absolutely everything, good and bad. So shadowing was a huge piece. The other thing was just delegation, right? I think sometimes as admin, and this was brought up, we get so stuck on I have to do it. I'm the leader. I'm the admin, and not being able to just let some things go to some folks that do possess the skills to get it done and get it done well.
Right. I think that also led into those templates, right? It's how can I delegate and trust the person I'm delegating to do it the way that I want it done. And the reality is that that comes with time and support and experience, but trying to give some perspective of things that they may not think about or that's something that makes you feel more comfortable letting go of that responsibility, even if it's as small as a checklist
Yep.
might be those little supports so that you feel confident being able to step away and allowing somebody else to shine in those areas.
Yeah, or even having a checklist of tiers, right? Like I'm giving this opportunity. They've experienced it, they've done it well, so let's give them the next tier of like getting them higher up on that level to be able to say I'm ready to go into administration or whatever the leadership position is, right? I mean, it doesn't have to always be admin, but
Well, and to your point, as we think about the year, not just the
mhm,
month of May, but the entire year,
yeah,
there are so many different leadership opportunities that probably could be broken up into three tiers of, running a simple staff meeting or
yeah.
collecting survey results to planning a graduation. I mean, we're in a very different category for that. So I like the opportunity for maybe you to have people you pull on based on experiences they've had, and you're kind of building them up as they
Mhm.
experience those different opportunities.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks give the opportunity to go to a concert and be admin on duty, right? Or go to a football game and be admin on duty. But there are so many other things that they can get experience with. And if you had the time to just sit down and plan that out to say, okay, that's important, but that's not the only thing an admin does. They need to get experience in other things. And what are those opportunities that I'm willing to open up for these folks to be able to do? Like you said, run a staff meeting. Like how many teachers have been able to do that?
Yeah.
Did you, Ray? Did you run
I
a staff
have,
meeting?
and I have to tell you that it's nerve-wracking. It takes
Yes.
practice, and I think that to me that's like a tier one. Like, how can
Mhm.
you get more educators that have leadership skills up in front of your staff, even for as short as 5 minutes, right?
Yep.
So these are good small little steps to grease the wheels.
Ray, I want to just mention this because it was brought up and it was a link that you put in there for the group. But I know professional development was another piece of the conversation. And someone had brought up that they had used the Teach Better grants because obviously, like we talked about, the hurdles that we have to jump over as admin to get things done. Funding, once that is put in place, that does open up a lot of doors to continue the conversation. And they were just saying that once they had the money presented with the grants that they were able to use the team pretty much immediately. So do you mind sharing kind of that opportunity for folks?
Absolutely, friends. It's very simple. So, Teach Better does not want funding to be the reason that you can't provide your staff support in all the different areas, the 360 approach that the Teach Better team loves to be able to work with schools in the US and Canada with. So, as we look at heading over to teachbetter.com/grants with an S on the end,
Mm-hmm.
grants. You're going to be able to see really an opportunity for you to submit for our team to get more information. What we like to do then is to better identify what community you're in, better identify what state you're in, your needs for professional development. And then we head over to our internal team and we find grants for you and help you write the grants. So the hope would be that, grants can be cumbersome. It takes a little bit of a strategy if you've never done it before. Our team takes care of 90% of the grant work to make sure that you can really focus on what the outcome needs to be rather than the process to get there. So if you head over to teachbetter.com/grants, it's very easy to do an exploratory meeting just to see what your needs are. And then we go hunting for you. And the hope would be that we get those grants for you, that money for you, and we can reinvest it into the professional development that you want your staff to gain.
I love it. So definitely head over to that link for those who are watching on YouTube. The link is on the screen for you. So make sure you head over. And then, of course, I mean, we can help you in this area, but Teach Better can provide PD for so many topics.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, there's so many things we support educators on, but geez, aspiring leaders is literally one of the topics. So
Yes.
if you're trying to build up your leadership team, this is a perfect opportunity for you to go get a grant that will fund it for you and have the Teach Better team come in and support your staff.
Awesome. So much fun. So for those who are watching, if you are just catching us for the first time on YouTube, we are meeting every single week. So you can join us Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern time, and it is free. All you have to do is head over to teachbetter.com/mastermind to sign up. You will get that Zoom link, and then you'll also get the opportunity to join our Facebook group. And this is a growing community. We have, I think, almost 250 people in there right now, Ray. So growing like crazy, even though it's a short time that this Facebook group has been constructed. But again, it's a space for us to continue the conversation. So we're not just coming together on Tuesdays because this is a full-time job. This is something we're constantly looking to collaborate with. So this gives us a forum to do that in. And with that, Ray, I just want to thank you so much for joining the conversation this morning on aspiring leadership.
So fun. Friends, don't forget to go sign up for Admin Mastermind. It's my favorite time of the week.
Awesome.